Gwent, we've been on a journey to develop a whole school approach for emotional health and well-being. And we started off by asking ourselves the question, what should this look like? How should it be? And we quickly thought, we need to go out and talk to children and young people, to teachers, to staff, to the school community, to learn from them. What does it look like? How should it be? And they told us all about the things that happen in their school communities, which help them to feel safe and to flourish and to thrive. And what we really wanted to do was bring this information, bring these voices, bring these children's views and their thoughts to the whole of the community so that everybody could have the opportunity to learn from these voices and to think about how they may be able to apply these principles, these ideas to their own school community. For every child, for all school communities to have this opportunity to go to a school where people's emotional health and well-being is supported.
Wellbeing isn't the absence of ups and downs in life. We would expect those entirely, if you've got good well-being, to still be present. We all have ups and downs. Instead, what well-being is having all of the opportunities that we need to thrive in a context. So things like good, positive, supportive relationships, things like opportunities for play and enjoyment, opportunities to feel like you belong to a community, to an organisation. Those are the things which also provide the protection when things do get tough. So good well-being is about having all of those things at your disposal. That means at times when things are more difficult, you can rely on the fact that you are having these experiences in your life that help you through. So essentially well-being is for everybody at all times, whether times are good or whether times are more tricky.
I think it's a difficult concept for us to think about. Historically, we've thought about mental health difficulties and well-being as being something that therefore is universally positive, that well-being is around being okay. But actually, when we think about well-being, we want to think about the ebb and flow of emotions. We want to think about the ups and downs of life, the challenges, the moments of real joy and strength. And positive well-being, therefore, is about being able to lean into those experiences in a way that still enables you to move forward.
Our well-being is about what makes us comfortable, makes us happy, and enables us to feel safe, particularly within a school environment if we're framing it within that context. It's about our positive emotional state, as well as appreciating that we have our ups and downs as we go through life. So within a school context, we're talking about well-being as being a school being a place where it can allow for all those emotional states to exist and provide a safe place for children to be able to and staff to be able to kind of express those emotional needs, and for the schools to actually be able to contain them and to be able to meet them and provide support for them.
I feel safe at school because all my friends care about me and all my teachers care about me, and that really makes me happy.
Wellbeing means to me that I have somewhere safe and I can be in school without having to be in trouble. Even though I don't feel safe in school, I have people I can go to, so it's somewhere I'm able to be free with myself and be who I want to be.
Wellbeing is when we feel happy or safe, and when we feel good about ourselves, or when we feel happy and not upset or scared about anything.
For me, safety is particularly important in terms of well-being, as it's probably the most overarching of all the themes that we're talking about. Because if you don't feel safe within your school environment, you're not going to want to go there. So therefore, how can any of your other needs be met if you're not actually attending school in the first place? So we need to ensure that our schools are safe environments in terms of their physical infrastructure, in terms of being able to provide a kind, caring, bright, nurturing environment that children feel safe within and want to go to. But also it's about emotional safety as well. So it's about that opportunity to be able to actually explore your emotions within an environment where you know that whether they're positive emotions or negative emotions, that those people within your school community appreciate that and will be able to respond accordingly and appropriately to be able to meet those needs.
I have never doubted that when Molly comes into school that there is somebody that she can talk to. I always know that, and it might not be her teacher, it might be another member of staff, but I think the children are so expressive with their feelings that obviously that brings their well-being to a level, and they know that they can always go to somebody. There is always an adult or even maybe just a friend that they can actually turn to and let them know how they're feeling.
With the staff here, as a parent here, and they make us feel, it's like being confident. You don't feel uneasy, they're very approachable. Having children here, as a parent, you want to be comfortable in this school to ask any questions. I feel this Glenys as a school makes parents very comfortable. You can ask questions, you don't feel uneasy.
Although it's one of the biggest schools in Wales, or I believe it's one of the biggest school, everybody knows each other. Everybody, they make the teachers and the staff, even the admin staff, go out of their way. I can't say, honestly, and I can't say a bad thing about this school. It's been absolutely fantastic. I think it's one of the best schools I've ever, had the pleasure of having any of my children in.
When we think about safety within school communities, we're thinking about emotional safety, relational safety and physical safety. So emotional safety is about being in a context where you feel you can show and communicate your emotions to others, where you feel that no emotion needs to be concealed or hidden. Relational safety is about feeling secure in the relationships that you're having, in knowing that there are adults and peers that you can go to discuss positives and challenges of everyday life. And physical safety is about feeling held within that, knowing that you're safe in that space, that no harm will come to you. And what we've learned through the stories is that these things interact in a really important way, that if any of those components is missing, it can have a massive impact on emotional well-being. But when they're all met, when they interplay with one another effectively, the impact can be enormous on children's well-being as well as on staff and teachers' well-being within school communities.
I have made new friends. I can talk to anyone, like the teachers, pastoral, or my friendship group. So like if I'm feeling down, I can just talk to them like a lot and they wouldn't like really spill or anything. Like it just means a lot to me.
My old history teacher used to let me go and speak to him, and like if I was having a bad day, I could just talk to him and he'd like understand, and he'd let me like sit in his room for like an hour or so and just like sit there and not do anything to chill out. And that was nice because like I felt like I could just go there anytime. So it was like not a safe space, but like somewhere I could just relax.
I had an argument with a boy and I didn't really want to go to school. I just wanted to really stay home and cuddle up with my dog. But then when I got to school, my friends and teachers really like comforted me, and they like made me really happy about myself, and they were just giving me compliments and just making me feel really positive.
Physical safety often experienced in things that schools actually do really well. So all the structures, all the routines, all the rituals that school communities have actually serve a real purpose in helping the members of that community to feel physically safe in the environment. Of course, the other part of that, and again revisiting this idea of relationships, is this, school communities are very much about learning about ourselves and about our emotions and our social worlds. And so there's a really critical part of emotional safety, that I can get things wrong in a relationship, but I need to know that that's going to be okay, and that I can still kind of experience a positive relationship with that person, even though I'm likely to make mistakes as I go.
Having my best friend around me in school is the best because obviously I feel more safe and content when I'm around her, and if there's a day where she's not in, I don't feel comfortable enough to do my work, so I'll just corner myself off. But when she's with me, I'm like more energetic and I get more things done.
You need to have a bond. The bond's very important, and having trust in people is very important for your mental health and your well-being and your stability and everything.
Belonging has relationships at its heart. So it's this idea of being connected to your school community and to those within it that makes a big difference.
Unless children feel happy, unless they feel valued and liked and contented, we're never going to start getting close to the potential that they can achieve. There's not many people, if any at all, who feel down, upset, fed up, disliked, disgruntled, unhappy, but still they really perform really well and they give everyone else what everyone else needs all the time. It just doesn't work like that. So unless we get the well-being right, everything else really is never going to fall into place. It's such an important thing.
Relationships and connectedness are two particularly important areas to that sense of belonging within a school. Children and staff spend the majority of their working week, 5 days a week, within the school environment, and therefore the relationships that we have with those around us, whether it's our colleagues as members of school staff or with our peers as children, are going to be particularly important. Having those positive relationships are the key things which will make us want to come back day after day to be part of that school community.
I feel like I belong at school because how the teachers treat you, how your friends treat you, they're like where the teachers are helpful, they're kind, they're nice, and they help do lots of different things with you, and they make you feel like you belong at Glannis Primary School.
Every member of staff is involved in supporting the well-being of pupils.
There's over 500 people in the school and I still felt like I was one of the important ones when I had the attention.
Mr. Davis took me to his classroom and he told me some very funny stories which made me feel very relaxed and calm when I was down in the dumps.
Normally when I'm upset, I'm hiding in my coat and I don't want to see anyone, talk to anyone. She's normally ragging the coat off me by then and telling me to come play and anything else. So Kiara is my #1 person who's always helped.
I think it's really important to trust people because you need to have a bond with someone and be able to talk to people and just get your feelings out as soon as you possibly can, because it builds up inside you and you're like a little bottle then, and then you just explode and it makes you very ill.
Well, I have my friends, my teachers. I think everyone's as special as everyone. I think we're all as equal as each other. But knowing that I have my friends and teachers to help me, I think that makes me feel special in school.
I think we're very good as a wellbeing school here. We spend lots of time getting to know each other, and we have staff meetings where we spend time just socially with each other. We have buffets where we all bring in food, and in the summer we spend time out on the field playing games and team games and getting to know each other like that way really. I think we're very open, so if anyone's got a problem we're very caring and nurturing with each other. And yeah, people feel happy with each other, I think.
Belonging is about feeling truly and meaningfully connected to your context. In schools, belonging is one of the things that underpins lots of other components of well-being. If you feel that you are connected to your school, that it is a place you want to be and that wants you to be part of it, then lots of other components of well-being actually fall into place.
There are a few things that we do in the mornings, for example. I have a greeting system where the children can come and choose a greeting that they would like to have in the morning. That can be a high five, It can be a say good morning, it can be a little dance, it can be a hug, it can be whatever it is that they would like to do really. That's lovely, that really makes a difference to their day, I've noticed.
Sometimes when I come into school and then the teacher, they're outside and they like greet you in. They say like, hello, morning, come into the classroom and take your seat. And all the friends, they say, oh hi, morning.
Belonging is a really important part of what we do here at Mainsey Primary School. Everybody feels welcome. We make sure that we've got home flags for all of the children. If a new child arrives, they should be able to find their flag within the school. And if we don't happen to have it, we make sure that we get that flag ordered promptly.
They have a Twitter feed where they periodically post pictures throughout the day of things that the children are doing, and I think that's a lovely tool for a parent to be able to look at that and see if you can spot your child and what they've been doing, what they've been learning about in that day, and you know, it helps you feel involved in their education and involved in their lives, and you've also got something to be able to talk to that child about when they get home, because quite often you ask the question, what have you been doing today, and they usually say nothing. So to be able to say, well, I saw that you did this today, and did you enjoy it? And that usually promotes some conversation, especially around the dinner table. And I think that's really helpful for a happy family environment as well.
I think making them feel included and not left out, and making sure they know that there's people that they can talk to, or friends that they can talk to if they're worried or upset about anything.
Belonging is something which is absolutely core to our existence as human beings. We strive to be part of a group, and therefore to feel that you're connected to something, to be actually part of a community, is something which is very, very important.
Well, belonging within the school community is very important for us. The word community isn't just part of our school name. It signifies what we do. We look at working within the community with our parents, with our external agencies, as well as with the students. And the sense of belonging is something that we hope is embedded in what we do. The children feel part of a wider sense of community. They know that a lot of the teachers that have worked here for a long time. We have plenty of students saying, oh, you taught my mum, or do you remember my uncle, and things like that. So for us, the sense of community is not just about the function of the school, it's about the relationships that we build in the wider community and with our students. They have the opportunity to become part of outside groups. We have students going in to visit local care homes and things like that. So there's the intergenerational aspect of our belonging and our community that is also important.
When we go to the old people's home, we feel happy to see them and nice to see them.
Belonging is a feeling of being connected to your school community. And obviously being connected to a community comes through the experience of relationship that you have. Many of the young people in this film talked about school as if it was being part of a family or feeling like a home. And those things really show the importance of feeling like you belong, which can't come without the positive and supportive relationships.
We are all willing to help each other out and treat each other like a family.
I think somebody care about me because when I fall over, somebody help me, and they go and they take me to miss, and there's somebody fall over, then I help them, and with the people who helped me, then when they fall, then I will help them.
I feel like people care about me in mainly primary school because this school is actually like a home, like a family to here, like, you know, in this place.
The kind of person they are is just amazing. It's like you are talking to your own family. It's not they are the head teacher or the deputy head teacher, or it's just like you speaking to them. I think is the best thing. You can just feel it, like you are supported and you are in good hands. That is what is very important to me, to feel safe.
it's our school. We do, you don't refer to it as work. You sort of refer to everything as ours and our family. And I think that's really nice because, it's nice to come into somewhere in the morning where you can have a conversation with somebody from the first minute you walk in. The first person I see in the morning, I know I'm going to be able to say hello to.
You kind of leave a bit of your heart and soul here. I think everyone feels that, that it is like an extended family. I think people do look out for each other here, and we sort of transfer, I think, that to the children. So the children are, they're very accepting of each other's differences. They're very supportive of each other.
It feels like a family to me.
I think the idea of I can do anything is just amazing, because then you know that you've got teachers there that can tell you what you can do, and that they'll help you achieve what you want to achieve and everything. And that's just nice to know that you've got somebody there that's supporting you with every move you make.
One of the really unique and exciting things about school communities is that they take children from childhood through to adulthood, and because of that, throughout someone's journey within school community, there are thousands of opportunities for personal growth, development, to have your hopes and dreams met, to achieve your goals. And for me, this is why efficacy is such an important component of wellbeing within school communities, because if you are in a school that nurtures and promotes this, then your ability to enter the world as the person who you hope to be is suddenly expanded.
Having high expectations, I think, is important in any school environment. Here at Efficacy, we promote that by explaining to the children that anything is possible. If they put their minds to it, if they're willing to work hard, we can help them get through to any point in their lives that they wish to be. We support them both with their emotional well-being and with their academic well-being, with the extra provision that we put in place. They know that teachers will come in during holidays, they give up their after-school time, and we show them that you can do this and we are there for you. We will support you every step of the way, and tell us what you want to achieve and we will help you to make it happen.
Well, self-confidence is the biggest issue we normally have to tackle. Sometimes in classes we don't speak as much, which we're encouraged to speak more and more. Self-pride is a very important part of our school. We're trying our best to bring it up and make it better for everyone to at least have a voice.
He was just really calm, he never rushed you to do your work if you actually had him for a lesson. He'd be like, oh, do your work and have a chill and then finish it if you want, but as long as you get it done, it's alright. He was nice and he was just calm, he wasn't shouting all the time and he wasn't rushing you.
So I'm not the best with reading, and once I was really struggling, and then the teachers kept persevering with me. They didn't just give up and say, oh, you're too bad, so we're not going to help you. They just stuck at it and kept helping me, and now I'm at the top group of reading in my class.
We had a very troubled child when he came to us, and right from the beginning, with Mrs. James, with the whole school structure, they went out of their way, and it could have gone a very different way because he was a troubled child and he could have gone into a specialist school because of the problems he had with his anger and everything else. And this school has actually kept him in the mainstream, in a mainstream school, and he will go on to do that. And that is down to how they approached it, and they persevered. They didn't just give up on him. Like I said, there were certain times when they could have said, oh no, he's too much for us, but they didn't do that.
When it comes to efficacy, we need to think about the things that schools do really, really well. So it's this giving everybody in their school community the message of I can do. So efficacy really is about that feeling of having your motivations and your hopes and your achievements kind of celebrated, being given the opportunity to achieve those, and the support to achieve those as well within the community.
Sometimes each year, in our Eisteddfods, I audition for doing the singing and performing in front of the Key Stage 2. So after I was on stage and I finished, I felt proud because I did it and I did well.
This role makes me feel powerful in a way, and to be selected for Deputy Head Girl is just a really big shock because it's just changed how I am personally, and it's just really, really shocking.
I think it's nice for teachers to be proud of you because it just shows that you're doing good and that you can actually do something. Like, they wouldn't be showing off like you worked and using it as an example if it weren't good. So it made you feel like you could do it.
A sharing afternoon is where the parents or grandparents are invited into school, and your child will come and show you everything they've been working on, from all their exercise books to their art around the school. And it's a chance for the children to come into school and really see what is going on, and the children to show all the things they're most proud of. And it's nice to be in the classroom where your child is, and it's nice for the child to be there.
Well, I'm proud of my school because I've been given the utilities to work at home. I've been given a school laptop to work at home. I do distance learning. I can come in, get my mark in the morning, go down to the registration office. I can come up, speak to a member of staff, normally Miss Astley, and I can do work for an hour, and I can go home and do work at home.
Efficacy is the feeling that I can do something, that I've got the potential to actually achieve at something which I know that I'm good at. And within a school context, that's about staff and members of the school community recognising those personal qualities in myself and being able to give me that kind of environment to actually be able to explore and expand upon those personal qualities and really be able to thrive.
Well, we have a teacher that's no longer in this school, but she did ELSA with me and she boosted my confidence a lot. So now I can come into school really happily and not have to worry about being judged.
It feels quite nice because you know that you can help people, because I quite like helping people with, like, if they're upset or anything like that. I like to help them and see the progress that they make and just see them become the person that they're going to grow up to be, really.
Well, it makes me feel really happy with the receptions as well, because they're really fun and they play with you as well as when you play with them, and the feeling of knowing that you're helping people I think is great.
The liaison between the teachers here, all the staff here, and with us as carers was just brilliant. We knew every step of the way what was going on, and that was makes us feel safe as well as the child feels safe. So they know where they're going, and they take the time to explain to the children what's going on. He had a one-to-one, and he's had a one-to-one since the whole time he's been here, and each one has changed over the 3 years he's been here. But they even took the time to tell him why it would be changing, and get to know the next one before that year finishes, to get to know the one-to-one that he's having the next year, so he felt comfortable with that.
They're also doing wellbeing courses, so they invite the parents in during school time and have a session. So the last one we did was about behaviour with children and how you can manage those behaviours in positive ways. And then there's another one this week that's about healthy lunch boxes, and that all contributes to their wellbeing. I find those really useful, and it also helps the parents bounce ideas off each other and support each other as well.
I had an older daughter here who's now in high school, and the communication then was great with us. She played football and she plays for Wales now, under 14s, and she started here at Glanus, and she had a lot of support from a teacher here that pushed her to do it.
When my teacher helped me with my math homework, it was column addition and it was really hard. So and it made me really happy.
Yeah, they came every time to just support me because I'm from Poland, so they just helped me like with my spelling, teach me some new words. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
I like learning about maths and stuff because I find it really helps me in like learning in a way that I'll know a lot from when I go to comprehensive, and I'll know a lot of stuff because I get taught in a way that I understand.
I felt supported when Miss Cooper helped me learn my tables in a different way than I normally would.
I feel supported when my friends they help me, and I feel nice and brave and good. When your voice is listened to in school, it feels welcoming and warming so that you feel like you do really belong in the school.
The thing about agency that's really important within wellbeing in school communities is that schools are big places. We think of comprehensive schools and some of them have up to 1,700, 1,800 pupils within them. And so then there's something really special about being part of such a big school community and yet still feeling that you have a voice, that you matter, that you're noticed, and that the people around you care about you as an individual, not just as a collective.
To me, importance for children to have a say in school is because most of the time children have the rights to also listen to people's voices and to also have their voices for themselves and for the good ideas in their heads.
Well, we're given a voice. The school gives us a voice. We can talk to people. We can voice anything. We can talk about our problems. We can talk about anything that we have wrong. We can talk to anyone. We're not shied away from that.
Well, with Pembroke Primary, when we first came here, they told us about their open door policy, and that really is true. That is what they do have. They have an open door policy. I've got 3 children in Pembroke, and over the years we've had numerous things that we've had to discuss, from small little things like trying to settle them in or bigger things that we've had to discuss. And honestly, they've been a real shoulder to cry on at times. Sometimes I've approached them with things that I know potentially are quite trivial, but they've listened, they've given me that time and even dropped what they're doing to show me that level of attention. So I really do feel that the school as a whole really take on board the well-being of the children, but also the well-being of the parents, which was really important to me when I chose Pembroke.
Having a teacher that makes me feel expressive and letting me explain what I'm feeling makes me feel safe, and this school is very safe, and I'm happy my parents brought me here.
One of the good things that they've got in this school is some picture emojis by the classroom door. So when they come in the morning, the children are able to tap on the happy face or the not so happy face or the sad face, and the teacher watches that as they go into the classroom. And obviously if they are tapping on a face which looks sad, then they know that they can take that child on one side when there's a quiet moment and and have a word with them and make sure that there's nothing that's troubling them before they start the day. And I think that's an excellent way to kind of encourage children to be happy in their school environment.
In preparing for the new curriculum, pupil voice is very important. It's important for children to realise that they can change the world, that their voice is really important and they are able to change the future. They need to work hard, they need to listen to others, but ultimately listening to their voices is really important.
A time where I had a voice in school and there was a big problem with it was the LGBT community. In the LGBT community in school, I've set up a club. And for this club, since so many people in school are LGBT or have LGBT related problems, many people bully them for it because they are a little bit different, still human but a little bit different, and just because they're different they get bullied for it. So I set up a group, and the Wellbeing is important from that is so that they have a place around children their age they can talk to and confide in, since adults might not understand, or it might be something different for them and they might be still questioning, but it's somewhere they can have an impact and still have people they can talk to and feel safe.
I can like make an impact on the school, so then when I leave the school then I'll know that like I've changed something. That makes me feel happy and like it makes me feel included.
The thing about agency for me is that it's particularly important for children and for staff to feel that they have a say on what goes on in their school community. It's about having a voice. It's about having your needs and your kind of wants and desires of what you want to affect upon a change in your school, that it's actually going to happen and that you've got that opportunity to be able to do that. So that might be through school councils. It's about staff groups that can actually have an impact on terms of what the school environment might be like, and therefore that means that you feel that you're actually part of something, that you have an impact on what's actually going to go on in that school community because your voice is heard.
Being valued is also like, it can make my mental health go up by a lot. Like I could come in with a bad day, angry or upset with my mum, and someone taking their time to like talk to me and making sure I'm alright, it makes me feel valued, and I feel like special, because it's like you could just choose to ignore me and let me get on with it myself, but you try, and it's the fact that they're trying their hardest, and it makes me feel like someone actually cares.
We've got our other interventions and activities like our Dale Farm, which was really set up as an inclusion project initially for children who find break times and lunch times a bit more of a challenge. And then we have other things going on as well, like our radio station, and you know, a wealth of clubs and opportunities for children to be leaders in school as well.
You can't stand out, you can't worry about being too different in a school where everybody's different and everybody's valued for being different.
It's so closely associated with kind of health and well-being, because if you think about times in your life when you haven't felt like you've got any sense of agency, when stuff happens around you and you've got no way of kind of managing that actually that has a critical effect on people. And when you do feel like you can kind of, you know, that when I ask for something or when I say this isn't working for me, that somebody says, oh gosh, yeah, I recognise that, and we can do something about that and we can make a real difference. That gives you a real sense of safety and security in the community that you were in.
If, say, right, they can tell, like, it's common that you would tell them stuff like that. So whenever if I go to Miss Tilly and I want to talk to her about something, I'll mention things that I like. So I'll say, oh yeah, my gecko has been like eating well lately and I'm happy about it, or like I just got a new dog and I'm really excited about it because I love dogs. And then they can kind of add all the pieces together, and when something bad happens, like say my dog passes, they know how much you love them, so they can just help you with that because they know, really.
So when I was chosen as a digital leader, I was really happy because I do loads of stuff at home on like computers and stuff, and when people are like stuck on the Chromebooks and they don't know what to do, we go and help them.
It makes me feel that somebody's taking notice. So I'm involved with the school quite heavily as well. I'm chair of the PTA, so we set up various groups as well. And to get that feedback from the staff and to have them checking on us and telling us that we are appreciated as parents, not just getting the bad news when something's happened with your child at school. Yeah, it makes me feel appreciated and like it's worth making the effort.
I think the thing that makes the difference to staff wellbeing is the way staff feel they're able to do their job. I think when you get the why bit right, there's a sign on the wall outside the staff room, in the staff corridor, that talks about never forget the reason you're here is to shape the minds and the souls of the most vulnerable people in our community. You chose to work here, it's not a sentence. And I think, although there are some things in learning that we have to be relentless on in terms of standards, in terms of getting the best for the children, we have to remember and say to the staff frequently, implicitly as well as explicitly, you chose this job, you wanted to do this, let me free you up and allow you to do that job as much as I can. Yes, there's paperwork to do in any role, isn't there? Yes, there's accountability. But when we can actually put yes in people's hearts, that sounds a bit cheesy maybe, but when you can actually put yes there and you can say if it's the right thing to do for the children, for their well-being, for their learning, then it has to be the right thing to do. And I'm constantly saying yes to people when they come to me with ideas, but generally they don't, because if it's the right thing to do for the children, and they'll do it anyway. They don't need to ask permission. That's our culture here, and culture is always going to be at the heart of any school.
Being from another country is very, very hard, and finding yourself fitting in one place is very hard as well. But when you find people that you really see that they care about you, not just you having your kids there, but they care about you and your kids as well. So I had the fortune to have these lovely people in my life. I have lots of teachers that I really am thankful to them, absolutely thankful.
The element of love and care really closely related, I suppose, as well to relationships, which, the more we think about it, become overarching across some of these components, is related to this idea of, the value that we hold for other people in our communities. And when this value is communicated to individuals, when they feel cared for, when they feel held in mind in a kind of unconditional way, when they notice that they are in a place where they feel loved and lovable, that makes a real difference to how people feel and of course to their experience of well-being.
Well, at the school here, I'd like to describe it at two levels really. There's the experiences the children have every day that make them feel happy and with that high level of well-being really. That's the interactions with each other, with the staff, the engaging, interesting, exciting, colourful lessons, indoors and out. All those things like the pat on the shoulder, literally and metaphorically, from the member of staff, being noticed, feeling cared about, feeling that adults are interested in them. And that I sometimes talk about as being a baseline for our well-being here.
When I'm comforted by a teacher, I feel happy and safe because I know that they've understood what I've said, and then that makes me feel happy because I know that I can be ensured by a teacher that I'll be okay.
Teachers help me by telling me that sometimes it's happened to somebody else, or telling me that it'll be okay and it'll be over soon.
She encouraged me every day to come into school and made me feel really good about myself and boosted my confidence up every day. And just seeing Miss Button with a smile on her face herself was really positive for me. Just seeing everyone with a smile on their face is really positive, and it's just really nice.
Because of the role that I do, wellbeing is quite a big issue because we are subject to quite a few difficult conversations sometimes with parents and also with children. And we are a large school, but I feel that we've all got a person of contact that we can go to. Our head teacher is extremely supportive, as our deputy head, and the wellbeing team in school. If we find that things are overwhelming, we can go and talk to them, and it is made a point of time at least once a month where myself and my colleague Mrs. Tilley can go and actually offload any things that we have had to deal with. So we are very well supported in this school.
And my friends are really nice to me. Whenever I'm sad, they like be funny and then I'm happy again.
Making children within school communities feel loved and feel that they are lovable is one of the most important things that we can do. There's lots of research that suggests that actually if we view children with unconditional positive regard, that no matter what behaviours they are showing us, no matter how they've arrived to us on that day, they are still held in positive regard by us, that we want to be with them, we care about them. We can move them forward to places of emotional security so much faster.
I think the best way for me to describe my role is to put it into the words of what a child said to me one day. I'd gone to collect a child from the classroom, hadn't met this child before, and took them to my nice comfy room where we go and chat. And I said, do you know what Mrs. Tilley's job in school is? And they replied with, is it to make everybody smile? And I said, kinda. That's kind of what I do in school. So I think that's why I come to school, to make children's, parents' lives that little bit better when they're really going through some tough times.
The overwhelming feeling that I get from all the members of staff is that they really truly do care. One example is my daughter's teacher. She's somebody who comes out on the playground not just to discuss issues that may have gone on in the day, but she actually just comes down to say, your child's had a fantastic day. And that just means so much to me as a parent and so much to my daughter that we go home walking on air. And also sometimes she's just coming out to just have a chat and catch up and see how you're doing, which means a lot.
So there was this one time when I came into school and I just wasn't feeling great, and my friend could, since he knew me so well and I know him so well, he could just sense that I was not feeling that well really. And he came to me at snack and said, is there anything you need to talk about, or do you need any help? And I talked through with him and I felt a lot better after.
You know that they're going to be looked after. You don't have any concerns at all that they're going to be feeling uncomfortable or be made to talk about things that they don't want to. So I think more of a general feeling that I've got rather than a specific one is that it's a very comfortable environment for them to be in, and I know as a parent that if there are issues they will be dealt with.
The thing that helps me feel good in school is when I feel upset, the teachers ask me what's wrong and they are always there to help me.
On the playground at lunchtime I was running and then I tripped over someone's foot and I fell on the ground, and all of my friends were making sure I was okay, and although the pain in my head and my knees were, it was really bad, it was kind of brought down a bit from the comfort that my friends gave me, and it just made me feel really so glad to have friends that I do.
Sometimes the teachers notice if something's wrong with me, they have full awareness, and they try their best to try and make me happy.
They really value every individual within this school, both the children and the parents. So when I was pregnant, I've recently had a baby, I wasn't coming in for school runs for a while because I had somebody else that was doing that for me, but one of the staff at school rang to check that I was okay. So just knowing that they actually register you as a person and are interested in what's going on with you makes quite a big difference to me.
The special thing about how they care about me is that they give me lots of love and care. They help me whenever I need, and they help me when I'm stuck on anything that I have to do while working in classroom.
My teacher makes me happy because she hugs me, she says nice things about me. They come and hug me, they come and ask if, when I'm lonely, they come and ask me if I want to play with them. And that makes me happy and I feel like they care about me.
I think love is hard to talk about because we shy away from it in these settings. There's something about it that maybe feels woolly or that makes us think it's not as important as other components that we can talk about really, really rigorously. But we all know what it feels like to be loved, and we all know how differently we feel about ourselves when we do feel loved.
Whenever someone is like sad, the teachers are really, they will notice it. Like, I've been to a lot of schools, so I know some schools like the teachers won't notice. They'll have to have a pupil say, "Oh, so and so is sad." So this school is not in that. It's just they'll see if you're sad. If they say you're okay, they'll say, "Okay, you sure?" And if they know that you're not okay, they'll call you out of class and just talk to you about what's happening.
Well, I go to a choir after school, but we're also doing a performance for a rap/poem where we have like actions and we do we recite a poem, and I'm not comfortable with people I don't know touching me, and there's a bit where you have to put your arm around someone, and my friend stands next to me, so I don't have to be touched by anyone else. And I have stage fright, and she's really just boosted my confidence a lot. Someone in my school who helped me was the dinner ladies. They helped me because I struggled with the noise in the hall. So the dinner ladies would greet me before I went into the hall, and if it was too noisy, they would tell everyone to quiet it down, so I wouldn't have to have the noise so badly making my ears hurt.
It feels like you belong. It doesn't feel like some schools you can go in and it's a bit more like hello, hi, goodbye. Whereas you could come here, if you feel a bit low or anything, say to one of the teachers, if they're not that busy, or even if they are busy, they will find someone else to come and have a chat with you. Make you a cup of tea, get your biscuits, if that's what you really need, which normally it is what I need. The teachers are all polite, and if you have a problem, it doesn't matter what time of day it is, or they don't turn around and say, "Oh no, you have to wait till the end of school." You can come in and just ask if anyone's available to chat to. So I like that as a school as well.
Love and care is particularly important for well-being in schools, as it's what enables us to feel that the people that we are interacting with in the school actually care about our needs. It enables us to feel safe. We know that we're going to be able to go to school as a member of staff or as a child and know that those around us care about us. For parents in particular, this is important, and I come from a personal perspective here because you love your child more than anything in the world, and when you drop the old child off at the school gates, you want to know that those people that are going to be looking after your child for the day are going to be caring and loving your child and looking out for their emotional needs.
Some teachers are just, in general, just really nice. So if someone's really nice to you, your first reaction is going to be trust them, because they're going to help you or going to stay being kind to you. So yeah.
And since being here, whatever they've said, they have done, which has been extremely helpful, rather than waiting and wondering, and then my child ends up feeling like she doesn't belong. It has been great.
I feel like people care about me in mainly primary school because, you know, I always help other people when they need help, and I always also care about them, and I want like the world to be a happy place for everyone in the world and in schools as well.
Wellbeing really is a golden thread that runs through everything in the school. It's a culture that you can feel. It's quite difficult to put your finger on why it's so special here, but it is. Everywhere you go, when you talk to staff, when you talk to children, when you walk around the classrooms, you can feel that throughout the school.
In this film, we've looked at the components of well-being that are critical for a whole school approach to well-being. But I suppose we can't move away from the kind of the centrality of the importance of relationships, which comes into all of the components that we looked at today. How if we want to get a whole school approach to well-being right, we need to begin by thinking about the relational values that we hold as a school community and how we can develop and enact those.
I feel that this is stable, it's consistent, and our motto at this school, be kind, be your best, and we very much take that on board, and it runs and is embedded throughout the school, because you know as an adult, if somebody smiles at you, just giving you that recognition that actually you are valued, you are worth somebody's expression of recognition is really important and can make a difference.
The whole school approach to emotional wellbeing is such an exciting project because it's actually been born out of the experiences of people within school communities. So the components of wellbeing that we've identified as being important to school contexts, love, agency, efficacy, belonging and safety, are themes that we drew from listening to the stories of children and young people within schools, of teachers, of education staff and parents and carers. We know that there's a really good evidence base for why these things matter, but what we've not done before is hear from these school communities in this breadth that actually it's the little moments that are making the big differences. It's the little moment where someone notices you, where someone makes you feel valued, where someone really hears what you're telling them and holds it in mind for you, where you feel you're able to grow into your best possible self. But equally, where when you're struggling, you know that you'll be held, you know that there are adults around you, whether that's a colleague or a teacher or member of education staff, who is going to respond to that emotional need, who can hold you in that communication and think about routes for you moving forward. It's not just about creating contexts where everything is okay all of the time. It's about creating contexts where it's okay to not be okay.
This school is just incredible. The ethos and the values that we have are embedded throughout the whole school. There's a real love and supportive environment. The children absolutely love it, so do the parents and all staff. are in it together, and it's just brilliant. You can't ask for a better school. I've only been here 2.5 years and I feel like I've been here a lifetime. I can't imagine ever leaving this school for the staff and for the pupils.
Just as wellbeing is for everyone, it's crucial that for a whole school approach to work, everybody is on board. So historically in schools we're used to maybe having allocated members of staff who may work on wellbeing, and that might be their role. We may have adults in school that young people go to when there are concerns around their wellbeing or their mental health needs. A whole school approach does this differently. So whilst it's really important that we still have allocated members of staff who are going to be able to lead on these and drive some of these ideas and changes through, we also need an approach that uses everybody's voice. We've heard about the importance of agency today, and something that uses everybody's voice, makes sure that everybody in the community is listened to and that everybody is involved in the creation of your whole school approach to wellbeing, in thinking about those components and what they look like in this school and how we could develop those components to make a kind of more coherent whole school approach to wellbeing here.
I feel like when I was in this school from year 7 to year 10, I could come in the morning and there'd normally be a pastoral on the gate welcoming everybody, and I could have an argument with my mum in the morning and they'd go, all right Rebecca, like how was your morning? And that just made me feel like, yeah, like I'm not just walking into a dark and gloomy place, someone's actually taking their time to talk to me.
Working at a whole school level is particularly advantageous in terms of we're looking at the smaller subtle changes that we can make within a whole school environment that don't require massive changes to the overall sort of systems which currently exist within schools. We're looking at what works well within the schools that we'll be working with and looking to try and encourage those things and trying to develop some of the things which schools already do very, very well. So for instance, we're talking about the themes of belonging, agency, efficacy, love and safety. Those are all things that schools can provide, but it's about us being able to kind of support schools in recognising the value of those things and being able to perhaps enhance some of those things which they're already doing and recognising their contributions to a whole school approach to emotional well-being.
And they've just worked with me all the way. There's been a friendly, inviting, chatty atmosphere around the school, and as it's progressed on through the years it's got even better. They've just put us completely at ease and they've made us realise how wonderful our daughter's life can be going on, and that there's, you know, it is this bittersweet thing about going up to high school, and is it all going to stop? You know, it'll definitely change because life changes anyway. But right now, at this moment in time, I couldn't be happier. They've reacted and even been ahead of me on some things that I hadn't even thought about, and the ideas that have flowed in order to bring her on and socialise her and make her happy, and she comes home from school most days really, really happy and can't wait to get to school the next day.
Another thing about the whole school approach, and particularly this idea of feeling supported, is this really powerful idea about being held in mind. So being supported is not necessarily about having people next to you, being close. It can be about just being held in mind and knowing that there are people there thinking about you. People who may not be present, but know that when you go off to your classroom or when you go off to your day in work in school and you're about to have a difficult day, knowing that other people, perhaps in your team or in your peer group, are holding you in mind and thinking about you, can make a profound difference to your experience of challenge or of your day.
I told my catering teacher, Miss Button, that I wasn't very happy in her lessons and that I was very down and that I had to go see the mental health team. She encouraged me every day to come into school and made me feel really good about myself and boosted my confidence up every day. And just seeing Miss Button with a smile on her face herself was really positive for me. Just seeing everyone with a smile on their face is really positive, and it's just really nice. So my catering teacher, Miss Button, made me feel really good.